Quoting from Financial Advisor magazine, more than 8 in 10, or 84% of wealthy people indicated that they have a long-term financial plan that factors for up and down economic cycles. Now that lines up with what the Bible says in Proverbs 15:22. It says, "Without counsel, plans fail, but with advisors, plans succeed." Now obviously, not everyone needs a personal financial advisor. You may not have enough money to invest, or you may be very wealthy, or maybe you have enough of your own expertise to rely on. But some of us have now or previously have had financial advisors and wonder, where's the benefit? The problem is that most financial advisors have been trained in a world very different from what we face today. The 7 new realities that we're going to cover today are built on basic concepts. I'll distill each of them to a single word, and then I'll elaborate on them. They are 1, inflation; 2, woke; 3, patriotic; 4, relationship; 5, politics; 6, parallel; and 7, AI. Understanding these 7 realities would help advisors better serve clients. And the first one of these, first up to bat, is inflation. And what we must understand is that inflation is like a vampire. You can't really kill it unless you drive a wooden stake through its heart, and even then it finds a way to come back and haunt you. Now, people thought inflation was dead. They thought it for years, even decades. And then this century, just the past couple of years, they've seen inflation roar back. It's sort of kind of like the fire that you see in an electric vehicle. They think they have it put out. The fire department says, oh, there's no smoke, it's all done. And then that lithium catches fire again and lights up. It's a very dangerous thing, and inflation is very dangerous as well. Now, we talk about inflation a lot in the Economic War Room. In fact, we've had 2 episodes 3 years ago in February of 2021. One was titled Inflation, and the other was titled Things Have Changed. We warned people that the inflation monster that seemed dead for 40 years would soon roar back to life, and all the experts said that we were wrong. We were told that inflation is transitory, that it's a mirage. People are seeing it and it's not really there. Now, why is this important? Because it makes a huge difference in how you handle your money. I remember what it was like in the 1970s before President Reagan and Fed Chairman Paul Volcker. Inflation was out of control then. Interest rates were shockingly high. Some people were paying 15% for a mortgage. Now let me quote from Reason magazine to set the stage of the 1970s. It says, by October 1979, Americans agreed by an overwhelming margin that inflation was the most important issue facing the country. A New York Times CBS News poll found that 40% of the country named it as their top concern. It's not hard to understand why Americans were so concerned. Inflation, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, hit 13.3% in 1979, the highest level in more than 3 decades. And in 1980, that figure came in at only a slightly reduced 12.4%. Inflation was eating into family earnings to the point where some were making more on paper in salaries, yet found themselves with reduced buying power. This is a reality. We've enjoyed an entire generation, 40 years, where inflation was trending down with relative price stability, yet we lost both purchasing power and just that feeling of peace when low inflation roared back into its high levels. Over the last 3 years, we've endured price shocks that have been pretty dramatic. You don't need statistics to know that it costs a lot more to eat out or even to eat at home or even to buy a home. Now here's the problem. Unless you understood why we were going to have such an inflation, as an advisor, you'd be wholly unprepared to protect against it. In the 1970s, the Jimmy Carter policies were foreshadowing what we've seen under President Biden. Massive stimulus, increased regulation, and a determination that America needed to take a backseat to globalism. We even had a pro-Iranian money push under Carter and again under Biden.